Guys, welcome to V's Staryard. Today we're going to be building the To Infinity. So let's get started. So we're going to need a hab. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be merging the reactor and the grav drive together by duplicating parts. Place this on top, then we're going to grab it and then grab the bottom hab and duplicate to force it down. I'm going to grab the one we just duplicated down and do it again, and we're going to clean up a little bit and reset so we can merge the engines as well. Now this guide is going to show you two engine setups. Going to show you the original layout as well as the one with the bigger engines, which is why we have so many engines out. So if you don't place a hab or something obstructing over the engine, it's going to merge upwards like it just did, because there's a space above it available for the engine to duplicate. Now we're going to do this 4 times total. Force all 4 engines into the same space. And then we're going to clean up. Now that we got that cleaned up, we'll get rid of these engines. You're going to need 4 total. That's going to connect to the top, right where the engines are. Then we can grab our bay and place it on. Now we're going to grab our cockpit, put it on. Start doing our shrouding. Now you're going to see a couple different techniques when I put this on. You're going to see the flip method and the cycle method. So now that those are on, these have no snap points yet to snap to. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab this one, place it right on top of the reactor. And see, look, it wants to go down, so what you're going to need to do is cycle. And so by cycling it, it doesn't want to go down to that bottom snap point. There you go. So see, this does the same thing. So if you put it like that, where it's facing upwards and connected to the snap point, and flip it, it will usually go right into that other point. As you can see with these ones, we didn't really have a problem. And you can either cycle like that or flip them in place. Now I connect this to the wrong part, but I find out later when I fix it. You want that to be as forward as possible. And we're going to place our Docker there. Now later we're going to have to move these parts again to place in fuel tanks and to place in our weapons. But we just want to get the structure of it set up first. And as you can see right here, I realized that it wasn't in the correct position. Now these are going to snap on either side of the reactor slash grab drive. And that'll give us snap points for our other Cap A's. Now, I was missing shrouding, but what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to put it here and then cycle, but you have to always place the part that you're trying to glitch into place, because if it isn't placed into the shipbuilder, it's going to do exactly what it did and it's just going to delete itself. See, it wants to snap to either of those points, so what we're going to do is we're going to cycle it and then let it go, but it still doesn't snap in place. So you can grab the whole ship, and then if you move it slightly, it'll connect to that point. And we're going to be using that technique to put on the landing gear too. We have 4 landing gear. I'm going to delete the 3 because we're going to need to duplicate them. So now you got to get it as close as you can to the snap point of the engine. So we're gonna put it right there and we're gonna cycle so that way it'll stay there. And now that we're here, we're gonna duplicate it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab the whole ship and you're gonna move it slightly and it should snap to that point. Grab it, move it slightly, grab it, move it slightly. And then there you go. Now all the landing gear are connected to that engine. And that's why we have that Nova piece, because once we add on the bigger engines, we don't have that snap point to snap to anymore. And so we're going to have to glitch that in place where the engine is, so that way we can put on the bigger engines instead later. Now we're going to grab these 4 side pieces and we're going to move them out of the way. That way we can place our weapons. And ideally here you also want to place your fuel tanks. I realized that after the fact as I was doing the build video. But right here would be a great time to snap in your fuel tanks on either side of the reactor after you've placed your shield and your weapons. So this is a cool trick. We're going to make all of these weapons take up the same point by duplicating them. So you duplicate it, duplicate it, duplicate it, and now those are all connected to that equipment plate, and they're all taking up the same space. Same thing here. What you're going to find though is sometimes these pieces will merge into other pieces. So later I'm trying to flip one of the Nova Cowling and it's not flipping, and then I realized that one of the guns actually merged into the Nova Cowling. So you'll see me go in on the bottom and delete it. But here we're just doing the same thing, duplicating the first gun over and over. See it? I moved it so it didn't snap in place. All you got to do is just duplicate and press A, and it'll snap into place. And then now, there you go. And now you're going to flip this in place, back in place. And then you're going to go ahead and put this one back in place so it holds the wing on. And you're going to go now and take care of that and get that applied. And see, here's where I figure out it's not flipping for me. And so when I go under, I see that the weapon is actually merged right there. So I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to go ahead and now be able to place that piece. And now, if you're using the smaller engines, I recommend doing this. You're going to see that I forgot to add the fuel tanks, and I'm going to have to go back and remove the cowling to add the fuel tanks, which is why I recommended that you do it beforehand. And you'll see these snap into place very easily now with the smaller engine. So we're going to grab these pieces, we're going to move them out of the way. And I like these particular fuel tanks, the 50s to the M50s. You see, it wants to snap to that higher snap point, but then what's going to happen is once you do that, it's going to be sticking out the top, and it doesn't look that great. And so it's not connecting to that lower snap point. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab this piece and flip it back on top of the other one, and do the same thing on the other side. And now that we've done that, we got that lower snap point that we can snap that to. We're going to duplicate it. Remember, you have to place it, and then once you place it, you can snap it. Now you can just duplicate it. So I'm just going to duplicate it and press A. Duplicate it, press A, and now we have 1,000 fuel. Grab that one, flip it back in place. Do the same thing for the other side. And then now, if you want the faster version, you're done. Now, if you are wanting to add on the bigger engines, I'm going to show you how to do that. The reason we have that engine set in and not back is because it's creating the snap point for the landing gear. Now, if you have the bigger engine on, we're going to move these pieces. We're going to delete the other 4 engines that we merged. We're going to connect these 3 pieces here. Now these aren't perfectly aligned, but as we're duplicating them to force them down, the game just kind of fixes it for us. And you'll see what I mean. So we're going to duplicate this hab. But what we want to do before we do that, just to make things easier on ourselves, is we want to move this bay out of the way. Now that the bay is clear, we can make one go up so that way it'll force the hab down. So we're going to just grab it from the top. We're going to grab our engines. We're going to press Y to duplicate, or whatever button, corresponding button that is on the PC. We're just going to clean this up. We're going to do it again. Grabbing the bottommost hab, pressing Y, duplicate. And so you can see now that they're kind of offset, the engines. So now when we duplicate it the next time, it forces it back for us, so it snaps it to those points. And so now that's perfectly aligned. We're going to do it one more time just to force them down. Now, there's one more thing we're going to do. We're going to clean all this up, but we're also going to grab one more engine, the middle one, and we're going to duplicate one more time. And what that's going to do is that's going to give us 4 engines, but it's only going to look like we have 3 engines. So we get the full maximum power of the engines, but we get the look we want. Now we're just going to clean all this up. I just delete it until they're all gone, and then what I do is I hit the undo button one time to get the hab I need, and that one actually goes down 1 because the bay goes there, so not there, but the middle. I want it to connect right there. And then now that we have that, we're going to add the bay on. But now you're going to see that when we grab all the pieces, that the actual landing gear on the bottom is not connected. So I'll show you what I mean. So you can see that the landing gear is black. It's not showing up as red, meaning that it's not connected. How we solve that is by grabbing this piece, placing it on top. We're going to duplicate this hab. We're going to bring it up, and we're going to put one on top, and that's going to stop the Nova cross brace piece from duplicating upwards, because we just want to duplicate it down one time. And then now it's there providing a snap point for our landing gear. And so we'll throw our bay back on. And now you can see when we grab it, our landing gear now shows up as red, so it's all attached. Now, because of these engines, they don't allow you to just place these on top, because technically the round piece is clipping into the other pieces. So we're just going to redo what we did earlier. So this is giving me a hard time. So if you put it here and then rotate it down, it should snap like that. We're going to rotate this one the other way to give you another snap point. And now you can also see I tried to cycle through, but it didn't work. So what I want to do is I want to bring it up above it slightly, and then you can connect it like that. Now once it's connected, you can flip it. See, now it's green, I'll connect it, and then now when I flip it again, it's already connected, so it's already green. Now we're going to do it one more time. And then we're going to flip this down and then up, and now it's connected. Now those are both versions of the to infinity. You can leave it like this if you want. You can make the wings a little bulkier by bringing them down if you want. And so it's just personal preference at that point, depending on how you want your to infinity to look. But that's the build. I had a lot of fun making this. And so I hope you guys all enjoy. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.